Hello and very logical greetings to all the CLAT warriors out there, and I believe कि आपका ये मॉक बहुत ही बढ़िया गया होगा and you might have scored 21 plus, right? तो चलिए आगे चलते हैं, बढ़ते हैं CLAT English. So the first passage. As so often in such debates, the controversy over new guidelines for courts from the Sentencing Council for England and Wales has obscured the confusion as much as it has eliminated. In these lines, author is saying that like many debates, the argument about the new court guidelines has created confusion as much as it has offered clarity. ठीक है? Critics have condemned them as presaging a two-tier. Presaging means suggesting a warning that something will happen, right? Presaging a two-tier justice system. इस जो नई ruling आई है, इससे author is saying that there will be the birth of two-tier justice system. A jibe. What is jibe? A mocking or sarcastic remark. Sarcastic remark. Aimed for months at Labour and Keir Starmer, but which has now crossed the parliamentary aisle to be wielded by Labour ministers too. So author is saying here that the Justice Minister Shabana Mahmood wrote to the chair of the Sentencing Council, Lord Justice William Davis, to make clear my displeasure at the guidelines. Shabana Mahmood is presenting her displeasure or unhappiness or disapproval with these given guidelines, insisting that access to justice should not be determined by an offender's ethnicity. यानी कि जस्टिस किसी के एथनिसिटी के आधार पर या कल्चर या रिलीजन के आधार पर उसको नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए. The Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick claim that Christian and straight white men will be treated differently to the rest of the society. So both of them are actually criticizing the changes, suggesting it could treat white Christian men unfairly और इससे injustice ज़्यादा आएगा. ठीक है? The spit and fury. What is spit and fury? Unnecessary exaggeration of गुस्सा, angst. ठीक है? Is both overdone and insufficient. बहुत ज़्यादा है. It is overdone. It is an informal phrase that conveys extreme anger or aggression. ठीक है? And it is too much and not enough. ठीक है? Insufficient. बहुत ज़्यादा है. Undone, overdone and insufficient. The new guidelines are more nuanced than many critics allow. Author is saying कि जो नई guidelines है ये ज़्यादा balanced है. ठीक है? But than many critics allow, but more profound problem with them are ignored in much of the discussion. So author is saying that critics are focusing one part of the rule but ignoring the deeper problem. The controversial part of the proposal due to come into effect on 1st April lies with changes in the use of pre-sentence report. दिक्कत कहाँ है? Pre-sentence report. These provide court with information about an offender's background and may lead to more lenient sentences. Author is saying that the issue is about pre-sentence report, जिसमें कोर्ट को information दी जाती है किसी के about the culprit's background and may lead to lighter sentence, and new rules say that these reports must be used for certain groups only, जो कि अभी हम आगे पढ़ेंगे. Under the new guidelines, court must consider a PSR when the defendant comes from certain cohorts, certain group. Cohorts means group such as being a young adult female, from an ethnic minority, या तो female हो गए या minority से हो या cultural minority से हो या faith minority से हो या pregnant हो या postnatal or primary carer for dependent relatives. So PR should be considered too when the offender may be transgender, has addiction issues, or is at risk of domestic abuse or modern slavery or trafficking, and so on. So author is saying that these reports give the court information about someone's background, and the new rule says that these reports must be used for certain groups, जैसे young people, women, minorities, pregnant, with those with addiction issues, and so on. ठीक है. It's quite a list compromising people from specific identity groups or facing certain circumstances. Much of the rage through has been directed at the inclusion of first one group, those from an ethnic minority, cultural minority and faith minority community. So it is a long list of special group, but most of the people are angry only because one group, ethnic, cultural and religious minorities, like the rules mention many groups that might need special attention, but most of the public is angry because of mentioning of minorities. यहाँ मुद्दा इन सब का मेंशन होना नहीं, मुद्दा यहाँ पे माइनॉरिटीज का है. The possibility of differential sentences based on race or ethnicity is certainly troubling. A burglary or a rape committed by a white person, black person or an Asian person should, all else being equal, receive the same punishment. Nevertheless, the focus of critique on this category as opposed to any other suggests politicized hostility. So author is saying it is definitely worrying कि if someone gets different punishment just because of their race, the crime should be punished the same way no matter कौन कर रहा है, either white or black or Asian person. ठीक है. And but people only seem angry about the race issue, not the other group on the list, which shows their political bias. क्रिटिक्स को सिर्फ कैटेगरी में दिक्कत दिख रही है, सिर्फ रेस में दिक्कत दिख रही है, बाकी चीजों में ऑथर इज पॉइंटिंग आउट दिस बायस, दिस फ्लॉ इन क्रिटिक्स व्यू. The list provides a snapshot of how the judiciary understands which people may be vulnerable, have extra need or face social disadvantage. So these lists show how judges think about who might be more vulnerable or at risk. ठीक है, जुडिशरी अंडरस्टैंड कि कैसे कुछ लोग, हाउ जजेस अंडरस्टैंड कि कौन ज़्यादा वल्नरेबल है, दे नीड एक्स्ट्रा केयर. Davis defending the guidelines suggested that one key issue had been evidence of disparities in sentencing outcomes. There are certainly disparities in sentencing of different ethnic groups and evidence that those from minority groups are more likely to receive higher custodial sentences for equivalent offences. Does this suggest, as supporters of the new guidelines argue, that a two-tier system already exists and that the changes seek to make it fairer? So author is pointing out that this list is based on who judges think need more help, and there is a proof that minorities often get harsher punishment than whites. There is a proof that certain disparity है कि जो minorities है उसको ज़्यादा intense punishment मिलती है as compared to white people. So maybe the justice system was already unfair and this change is trying to make it better. जो जस्टिस सिस्टम था वो ऑलरेडी अनफेयर था एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर गाइडलाइन इज ट्राइंग टू मेक दैट पर्टिकुलर जस्टिस सिस्टम मोर फेयर. ऑथर इज pointing out this. Racism and discrimination certainly play a role in creating these disparities, but so now author is saying कि हाँ, racism affects the court decision. Racism is one of the reason for unfair sentences, but so do other factors as well. दूसरे factors भी हैं. Minority defendants, for example, are less likely to plead guilty than white defendants and so on. If convicted, more likely to face harsher sentences, with those who admit guilt usually afford leniency. So author is saying that many minority people do not admit guilt. They do not say I have committed the guilt. So they miss the chance of shorter sentences. Treating people differently to fix old unfairness may not always be fair either, nor is treating individuals from different groups unequally an equitable solution to social discrimination against particular groups. So author is saying it is not giving different treatment to different people is not always the right thing to fix the problem. ठीक है, आगे author is saying the most striking aspect of new guideline is the missing subject क्लास. सबसे जो मिसिंग पार्ट है रूल का वो क्या है, ऑथर कह रहा है क्लास. द वर्ड क्लास डज नॉट अपीयर वंस इन द डॉक्यूमेंट, एक बार भी नहीं आया. नॉर डज पॉवर्टी, ना ही पॉवर्टी आया. येट फ्यू इश्यूज आर मोर पर्टिनेंट. पर्टिनेंट यानी रेलेवेंट in evaluating offenders' social background. A wealth of researcher have revealed connection between class, poverty, inequality and crime. रिसर्चर ने क्या रिवील किया है, देयर इज अ कनेक्शन बिटवीन क्लास, पॉवर्टी, इनइक्वालिटी एंड क्राइम. ऑल दीज फोर एस्पेक्ट्स आर interconnected, they have connection. Period in which there have been relative falls in the wages of poorly paid workers are associated with increased crime rate and is greater inequality. So author is saying कि पूरे उस rule में class is missing and that word does not appear even once, and there is no mention of poverty either. Even though there are major causes of crime and unfair outcomes, poor people are more likely to commit crimes and get caught. ठीक है? There is a major blind spot. Blind spot means oversight. नहीं दिख यहाँ पे नहीं दिख not considered. There is a major blind spot in the way policy makers and state authorities understand social disadvantage and inequality. ठीक है? In 2012, Ministry of Justice report unsurprisingly found that a significant proportion of prisoners had grown up in poverty. कि जो prisoners हैं, they had grown up in poverty with a history of social exclusion. ठीक है? A prisons inspectorate, यानी group of people who inspects report the previous year had shown that more than half of young women in custody and a quarter of young men had been in local authority care. ठीक है? तो जो many studies show that most prisoners grew up in poor or without help and some were in care homes. Local care authority के पास थे, यानी उनका खुद का अपना कुछ घर नहीं था. Other research indicate that more than a third of prisoners have not been in paid employment in the year before. They did not have job. Almost 1 in 8 had never had paid a job. A 2022 report by Cardiff University academics revealed that the imprisonment rate for the 10 most deprived local authorities in England was 10 times greater than that of 10 least deprived local authorities in England. Then the author is trying to say that people from the poorest areas are 10 times more likely to be jailed than from rich areas. That means people who are impoverished are likely to commit more crimes. ठीक है? चलो. Which of the following best describes the style and tone of the passage? Objective and investigative with a focus on balance analysis and highlighting overlooked complexities. Yes, the passage look at the sentencing guidelines from different angles. It explains वो critics का भी बात बता रही है, वो अपना perspective भी रख रहे हैं. What guidelines है, guidelines क्या बोल रहे हैं, वो ये भी बता रहे हैं, right? And what they leave out like poverty and class. Poverty and class. The tone is calm. He is presenting various studies, evidences. So it is objective and investigative. The tone is calm, thoughtful and fact-based. Sarcastic and dismissive, ridiculing both the judiciary and critics. No, the author does not make fun of anyone at all. Highly technical and legalistic. No, the language is clear, accessible और कोई भी ऐसा legalistic statements नहीं है. There is no, passage has no any legal terms जो समझ में नहीं आए. Emotional and anecdotal, there is no personal story or emotion involved here, right? Completely factual. Coming on to the next question. The spit and fury is both overdone and insufficient. क्या मतलब है इसका? The public outrage about the new sentencing guideline is exaggerated. Yes, it is exaggerated and overdone and insufficient. हमारे author कह रहा है ना? Yet it fails to address the most crucial underlying shortcoming of the guidelines. Right? The public reaction is loud, but it misses the deeper issue. ठीक है? It misses the deeper issue. It is very loud, but it misses the deeper issue. So A is the correct answer. The criticism directed at the guideline is entirely baseless and should be dismissed as irrelevant. No, it is not relevant. The rules, the author says that it has some basis for concern. Not all criticism is irrelevant. तो इसको entirely बोल देना extreme है, eliminate. The emotional response to the guideline has led to immediate पॉलिसी चेंजेस, हमारे पैसेज में कहीं नहीं बोला गया कि देयर इज एन इमीडिएट पॉलिसी चेंजेस, इररेलेवेंट. द डिबेट अराउंड द गाइडलाइन इज बैलेंस्ड विद क्रिटिक्स गिविंग इक्वल अटेंशन टू एवरी पॉसिबल फ्लॉ इन द सोसाइटी. द पैसेज सेज क्रिटिक्स आर मोस्टली फोकस्ड ऑन रेस. बैलेंस नहीं है, सिर्फ वो रेस पे है, क्लास और पॉवर्टी पे तो ध्यान ही नहीं गया है. ठीक है, तो डी इज ऑल्सो इनकरेक्ट. Which of the following statement is not true according to the passage? The new sentencing guideline require courts to consider pre-sentence reports for offenders from certain identity groups and those facing specific vulnerabilities. Yes, यही तो बात हमारे पैसेज में सेकेंड पैराग्राफ में ही बताई गई है कि कोर्ट नीड PSR for certain minorities or certain group of people. So A is correct to the passage. Guidelines have been criticized for potentially creating a two-tier justice system, which this is also true to the passage, isn't it? The guideline explicitly addressed the impact of class and it did not address the impact of class and poverty, rather than it was overlooked. Blind spot, major blind spot का इस्तेमाल हुआ है, right? It was a major blind spot. So it was not explicitly addressed, so C is incorrect according to the passage. Research cited in the passage indicates that prisoners are disproportionately drawn from backgrounds of poverty, social exclusion and True, the research is cited showing link between poverty and crime, so D is also correct. Could addressing social inequality reduce disparity in sentencing outcomes in England and Wales? So question is saying ki will addressing social inequality and reduce sentencing disparity? Yes, because social deprivation is the primary driver. Extreme word है, बहुत exclusive, narrow कर दिया. It is not the only driver. Social deprivation is not the only primary driver of all sentencing disparities. So यहाँ पे ये गलत हो जाता है. Partially because while social deprivation independently contributes to harsher sentencing and exacerbates cumulative disadvantage, ethnic disparity persists even after controlling for socio-economic factors, indicating that addressing social inequality alone will not fully eliminate sentencing disparity. Yes, B is correct because passage says that poverty and social disadvantage cause harsher sentences, lekin it also says that even after adjusting for these, ethnic disparities still exist and disparities in themselves are not evidence of racism. Treating individuals from different groups unequally is not a solution. Author is explicitly saying that treating different people of different background is not a solution. So B is the correct answer. No, because recent research shows that neither social inequality nor ethnic background have any measurable effect. Both class and ethnicity matter and they have measurable effect. So C is also incorrect. Yes, but only for white defendants. Poverty and inequality affect everyone, not only white defendants. So D is also incorrect. Coming on to the next, why is the absence of class consideration a major oversight in the new sentencing guidelines for England and Wales? The fifth question is saying, what is it a big problem that class is not mentioned in that particular guideline? Because sentencing guidelines are only intended to address the legal definition of offences and should not consider any background factors. Option A, sentencing should consider background, that's why PSR exists, so A is incorrect, right? Because a large body of research shows that poverty and social exclusion are strongly linked to both offending and harsher sentencing outcomes. So, omitting class means neglecting a key source of disadvantage and undermining the fairness and proportionality the guideline aim to ensure. Yes, B is the correct answer because passage says that this is the major blind spot कि class and poverty are left out even though research shows a strong link between social exclusion and crime. Because class is already adequately addressed. Incorrect, it is not addressed at all because the guidelines are designed to focus exclusively on identity categories such as not on broader social or economic factor. The guideline should not ignore economic background, that's what the passage criticizes, so D is also incorrect. ठीक है, चलो explicitly including class, socio-economic status in sentencing guidelines influence public trust in the justice system. यानी how including class in the rules affect public trust. अगर हम class को include करेंगे तो how it will affect public trust. ठीक है? Question option A. It would have little to no effect since public trust is determined solely by the efficiency and speed of court proceeding, not by perception of fairness or equity. Completely incorrect. People don't just care about speed, they care about fairness and equality. So A is incorrect. It would likely increase public trust. Yes, बढ़ाएगा. As addressing socio-economic disparities would demonstrate that the justice system recognizes and seeks to mitigate, lessen, कम करने की कोशिश कर रहा है structural disadvantages, thereby enhancing perceptions of fairness, legitimacy and alignment with community values. Yes, B is the correct answer. Right? पैसेज यही तो बोल रहा है कि जब सिस्टम कंसिडर करेगा रियल डिसएडवांटेजेस को लाइक पॉवर्टी एंड क्लास, पीपल आर more likely to trust it. This shows that justice system understands every single struggle. It would undermine public trust. No, it will not undermine it. Rather, it will actually increase it. ठीक है? That by in favor of poor, leading to widespread resentment among the general population. Option C कह रहा है कि अगर आप गरीबों की मदद करोगे तो उससे आप ट्रस्ट रिड्यूस हो जाएगा. इसका जस्ट उल्टा. यूजुअली इट बिल्ड्स ट्रस्ट. इट वुड ओनली अफेक्ट माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप trust without any broader impact on general public perception of the justice system. No, everyone benefits when justice is seen fair, not just minorities. So D is also incorrect. All right, coming to next passage. The politics of federalism is also complicated by the fact that political, cultural, administrative and economic federalism are not governed by a single logic. So what is federalism? System where power is shared between center and state. ठीक है? अभी कह रहा है कि जो ये federalism works through checks and balances. ठीक है? Dividing power between center and state. ठीक है? Complicated by the fact that political, cultural, administrative and economic federalism are not governed by single logic. एक logic से नहीं governed. We do not pay enough attention to the fact that formal checks and balances of any constitutional scheme are actually at cross purposes with, what is cross purposes? Working against each other unknowingly. Working against each other. ठीक है? Checks and balances mechanism that keeps different part of government from becoming too powerful. कि center ज़्यादा powerful ना हो जाए या state ज़्यादा powerful ना हो जाए तो equal distribution हो. ठीक है? Check scheme are actually at cross purposes, यानी working against each other with another institution of democracy that is not a constitutional institution but now constitutes its essence, namely political parties. So in these particular lines, author is saying कि federalism works through checks and balances कि हम बराबर हम गवर्नमेंट में पावर को बांटे, but in real life political parties control how things work. It is saying कि it works against it only. Federalism के against ही काम करता है and now considers essence, namely political parties work against federalism. The legislature's functioning has been more or less superseded. यानी to take the place or override by the political party, especially after the introduction of anti-defection law. What is anti-defection law? A rule that stop these MP, MLAs or lawmakers from switching parties based on their gain or interest to ensure the stability of the party and democracy. ठीक है? The legislature has more or less superseded by political parties, especially after introduction of the anti-defection law. Parliament cannot effectively exercise oversight over the executive because party government and partisanship supersede all other former allocation of power. तो जो पार्लियामेंट है वो अच्छे से एक वॉचफुल मैनेजमेंट नहीं रख पा रही है. ठीक है? एक्सरसाइज ओवरसाइट नहीं कर पा रही ओवर द एग्जीक्यूटिव बिकॉज पार्टी गवर्नेंस या लॉयल्टी टुवर्ड्स वंस पार्टी overrides all other former allocation of powers. This is a big challenge for federalism. तो author is saying that due to this anti-defection law, जहाँ पे MP must follow their party or lose their seat, so instead of institution keeping each other in check, everything is controlled by political party and this is weakening the federalism. ठीक है, जहाँ पे पार्लियामेंट इज सपोज टू ओवरसी द गवर्नमेंट, वो सही से अपना काम कर ही नहीं पा रही है बिकॉज ऑफ लॉयल्टी टुवर्ड्स वंस पार्टी. अभी नेशनल पार्टीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट सिंस दे नीड डिफरेंट रीजन्स टुगेदर. जो नेशनल पार्टीज हैं वो इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं क्योंकि वो अलग अलग स्टेट्स को एक साथ लेकर के आती हैं. बट द नेशनल पार्टीज कैन ऑल्सो सुपरसीड द डिमांड्स ऑफ फेडरलिज्म. दे कैन ओवरराइड द डिमांड्स ऑफ फेडरलिज्म. द चीफ मिनिस्टर इज नॉट जस्टिस अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, is not just a constitutional functionary, the head of government of the state. वो सिर्फ head of the government of the state नहीं है, rather और क्या है, the chief minister is also a part of party hierarchy that may supersede their function as a chief minister. Like chief minister is supposed to lead a state, but if party boss, ठीक है, gives order, they have to follow. And this is worse in parties where power is very centralized. This is even more true in a system where party structures are more centralized. जहाँ पे एक ही व्यक्ति के हाथ में पूरा power है. The states are already inserted into the political logic of party. So, even though states seem independent, they are tightly controlled by political parties. The chief minister is answerable to the party hierarchy as much as to the state. वो उतना ही पार्टी के हेड को भी आंसरेबल है जितना अपने स्टेट को आंसरेबल है. तो फेडरलिज्म के आड़े आ रहा है लॉयल्टी टुवर्ड्स वंस पार्टी. This feature explains two odd features. अब ये feature explain कर रहा है दो odd feature of Indian federalism. When we think of federalism, we often think of relationship between center and individual states. Center और state के बीच का relationship हमारे दिमाग में आता है. But in a way, there are three actors here. Ignoring local government for a moment, अगर हम local government को side में रख दें, there is a center, individual state and states taken together. सेंटर है, इंडिविजुअल स्टेट है और स्टेट्स टेकन टुगेदर. ठीक है, इन अ वे जैसे जीएसटी इज अ परफेक्ट एग्जांपल वेयर स्टेट्स टेकन टुगेदर टेक कलेक्टिव डिसीजंस दैट आर बाइंडिंग ऑन ऑल स्टेट्स. ठीक है, ऑथर इज गिविंग एन एग्जांपल ऑफ जीएसटी जहां पे सारे स्टेट्स अग्री टुगेदर ऑन वन रेट, सेम रेट. दिस शोज दैट द स्टेट्स कैन मेक जॉइंट डिसीजंस फॉर एवरीवन बेनिफिट. टेक्निकली द डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ जीएसटी रेट इज नॉट अ सेंटर वर्सेस स्टेट इशू. The interesting question is, could this model of collection of state taking decision that extend to all states be used elsewhere as well? तो अभी author is posing a question कि जो GST में जहाँ पे सारे states are binding together into one decision, one rate, क्या उसी तरह बाकी मुद्दों में भी सारे states एक साथ आ करके decision ले सकते हैं बाकी matters में भी? For example, in principle, there is no reason that a collection of all state, not the center, determines whether a particular set of conditionalities have been fairly applied. What is conditionalities? Condition attached to something. So, author is saying कि maybe this model of all states deciding fairly could be used in other areas like deciding how funds are given. Collection of all state determine whether a particular set of conditions have been fairly applied. How funds are given? When all states agree, there is a less chance of unfair treatment. Now it would be interesting of all states to come up with rules that are fair across all states, since they would be binding across all states, and all states, not just the center, would be the price for any exceptions granted. This is not a panacea, this is not a solution, but this is an underused mechanism. So author underused and not enough used. ठीक है, so author is saying that कि जैसा जीएसटी में किया है वैसा ही सारे स्टेट एक साथ आकर के they can work together, and it is not a perfect solution for all problem, but it is not an underused mechanism, it is a not enough used mechanism. We can apply it. But one of thinking about this is that when we speak of that unmeaning slogan, cooperative federalism, like there center and state work together. तो जब लोग कहते हैं cooperative federalism, they usually mean center and state as one. We think that ठीक है, not state cooperating with each other, ठीक है. Think of a range of issues. Airshed management. What is airshed? A region sharing the same air pollution or water, where states need to get into the habit of cooperating rather than conversation being mediated by the center or sometimes even the judiciary. One reason collectivities of state have been a weak mechanism is because states cannot act politically independent of the party. So the question is the latest spat over Tamil Nadu about the DMK versus BJP, is it federal issue or sometimes hard to tell us is a sign that wires of party structure and federalism are always crossing each other. So in last paragraph, author is saying when people say cooperative federalism, they usually mean state working with states, center working with state, but state also need to learn to work with each other directly without needing center or court to step in. Okay, without needing center or court to step in, and for example managing pollution, airshed problem, or managing the water problem. Okay, pollution in river required state to cooperate, but this does not happen much because party politics get into the way. Politically, they are not politically independent. Party politics बीच में आ जाती है. If party controls multiple states, the party interest dominates instead of state acting independently. All right. So आखिरी में ऑथर इज सेइंग दैट समटाइम्स हम ये नहीं बता सकते कि जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है इट इज अबाउट फेडरलिज्म, सेंटर वर्सेस स्टेट, और जस्ट पॉलिटिकल पार्टी फाइट लाइक बीजेपी एंड डीएमके इन तमिलनाडु. देयर इज अ साइन ऑफ हाउ कंफ्यूज्ड थिंग्स हैव बिकम. Party politics and federal structure are so mixed up that it hard to separate them. Now, ठीक है, wires crossing any metaphor, confusion and mixing things up. ठीक है, wires crossing. चलिए, I hope you have understood the passage. Coming on to the question, which of the following best captures the central argument of the passage? The anti-defection law has strengthened the legislature's oversight of executive India. Option A, anti-defection law actually weakened the legislative oversight, not strengthened it. उसने weaken कर दिया है, right? Now, the functioning of political parties, especially their centralized structures, complicates the logic and practice of federalism, often superseding constitutional checks and balances. Yes, it says that parliament has been superseded by political party. It explains how chief ministers answer more to party bosses rather than constitutional roles, and it shows that how federalism and constitutional checks are disrupted by party control. So B is the correct answer. The GST is a failed experiment. नहीं, it is a successful experiment. उसी के example में it is a positive example. Cooperative federalism is best achieved through center-state mediation, not to state cooperation. So option D says the passage argues more of a state-to-state cooperation, not a center mediation. So D is also incorrect. Come moving on to the next question. What can be inferred about the author's view on anti-defection law? It has enhanced the independence? No, it has rather weakened it. The law reduced, not increased the MP's independence. Enhance नहीं किया है, decrease किया है, right? It has contributed to the dominance of political parties over legislative functioning. Yes, this is author. यही बात ऑथर डिस्कस कर रहा है that parliament cannot effectively exercise oversight because party government and partisanship supersede all formal allocation of powers. So B is correct. It has made the party system irrelevant. Is it? The party system is shown very powerful, not irrelevant. It has no impact of functioning of federalism. It is directly affecting federalism by giving more power to party leadership. So D is also incorrect. According to the passage, what is the potential benefit of states collectively making binding decisions as in the GST model? So, benefit of GST like state collective, क्या है उसका? Option A, it would eliminate all political conflict because the center and the state, it does not say this method ends all conflict, very extreme, right? could ensure fairness across all state as rule would be binding on everyone, exception would affect all equally. Yes, all state not just center would pay the prices for any exception granted, यानी कि सबको ये similar, all state make the rule, it ensure fairness and no one gets special treatment. ठीक है, it would allow the center to bypass state government entirely. No, it is about state deciding, not the center bypassing the state. ठीक है, it would make party hierarchies irrelevant. State politics नहीं, party structure still matter. This model does not erase them. It's just कि एक agreement आ जाएगा, तो inequality नहीं रहेगी. Which of the following statement is not true according to the passage? Chief Minister are influenced by both their constitutional roles and position in the party hierarchy. बिल्कुल सही बात है. The GST model is example of states taking collective decisions. Yes, states often act politically independent of party structure. They are fully dependent of party structure. ठीक है. The wire of party structure and federalism are frequently entangled in Indian politics. Conclusion आखिरी लाइन में यही कहा गया है. तो A, B, D are correct. C is incorrect according to the passage. Why does the passage suggest that political parties challenge the formal checks and balances of democracy? How do political parties challenge constitutional checks? Because political parties always act as neutral arbiters, strengthening constitutional oversight and preventing executive overreach. Parties are not acting as neutral arbiters, they are overriding institutions, right? So A is incorrect. Because of the dominance of party leadership, especially after law like anti-defection shifts real power from legislature to constitutional office, party hierarchies leading to partisanship that overrides formal institutional roles and weakens the legislature's ability to check the executive. Yes, B is the correct answer. It is the central idea of the passage as well, right? Because centralized party control, real power lies with party, not the constitutional institution. Because of political parties have no influence on government, they have very central influence, right? So C is incorrect. Because of political parties are constitutionally required to resolve all dispute between the center and state, ensuring balance and fairness. No constitutional rule makes parties resolve dispute. This is a misunderstanding. This is not a correct answer. Irrelevant option. How does party influence threaten the independence of constitutional authorities in India? Constitutional independence को कैसे threaten करते हैं party? Option A. Political parties are regulated by explicit constitutional provisions that require them to always act in public in ensuring that the absolute independence of constitutional authorities. No constitutional rule make parties act in public interest automatically. A is very extreme. Since political parties are extra constitutional and often lack internal democracy, their centralized leadership can dominate elected representative and constitutional functionaries, making these authorities more accountable to party hierarchies than to their constitutional role, thereby weakening the separation of powers and institutional autonomy. Yes, they are not part of constitution but control real decisions. They have centralized control and result in institution following party orders, not independent judgment. So B is correct answer. The Indian Constitution prohibits any relationship between political parties and authorities, so party influence is legally impossible. Parties are not banned from influencing these institutions. So C is also irrelevant option. Party influence is beneficial because it always enhances the effectiveness and impartiality of constitutional authority. No, it does not always help. It often undermines its independence. So it can go both ways. Chalo. Coming on to the next passage. In 1963, the black working class revolutionist James Boggs wrote of coming cataclysm in America. What is cataclysm? It is a large scale violent event. Massive violent event. ठीक है, अमेरिकन इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन में एक मासिव वायलेंट इवेंट आने की बात कह रहे हैं। कौन? ब्लैक वर्किंग क्लास रेवोल्यूशनिस्ट। रेवोल्यूशनिस्ट मीन समवन वर्किंग फॉर मेजर सोशल और पॉलिटिकल कॉज, सोशल कॉज, जेम्स बॉग। एज एन ऑटो वर्कर एट Chrysler in Detroit, Boggs had an intimate knowledge of the changes introduced on the shop floor and the impacts that reverberated, echoed from across, echoed समझे ना, spread like echo, like far-reaching effects across the city. Seeing the ways in which these shifts in the technical aspect of the labor process came to affect the prospects for radical organizing. So in the first paragraph, author is saying that in 1963, a black worker and activist named James Bogg, who worked at Chrysler in Detroit, warned that automation would lead disaster for working class, especially black workers. ठीक है, automation. Now, he had first-hand experience with the changes in factory work and saw how these changes make it harder for worker to organize or fight for better condition. Which this shift in the technical aspect labor process came to affect the prospects of radical organizing. What is radical organizing? Forming groups to fight for deep political or economic changes. He saw one particular harbinger. What is harbinger? A sign of something to come, usually negative. ठीक है, bad. Of this coming utter devastation of working class and especially the black working class automation. So automation is that cataclysm or harbinger that is going to hit the working class and especially black working class. ठीक है, it makes sense that Detroit auto worker would find himself specially attuned to his phenomena. The contemporary usage of word automation has its origin in the automation department of Ford Motor Company set up by Vice President Manufacturing Delmar Harder. तो ये word automation आया कहाँ से? यहाँ से आया है. Even though Harder's actual proposal for the reorganization of work in Ford's factories primarily relied on 19th century technologies designed simply to speed up the production line. Author क्या बोल रहा है? That by 1960s, the automation meant entire system of machines doing work that used to नहीं, Ford के लिए author is saying that जो नया system आया है Ford पे, it is mostly old method only, but अब वो ज़्यादा जल्दी में काम कर रहा है, ठीक है? Throughout the American Revolution, pages from Nergo Worker Notebook, Boggs speaks of automation in apocalyptic term, ठीक है? Author is using in a very destructive term, issuing the grave pronouncement that America is headed toward full unemployment, not full employment. America is heading towards full unemployment because automation will entirely replace human work. ठीक है? It will create a आगे देखते हैं. Next, by the early 1960s, when Boggs wrote of this fast approaching wave of automation, the term had come to mean the replacement of job once done by human laborers now performed by integrated system, यानी machine. जो काम पहले human के द्वारा किया जाता था, अभी वो integrated machine system के द्वारा किया जाएगा. Come to regulate the pace of production for the smaller number of workers in the line. So author is saying, Bogg is saying that by 1960s, automation meant entire system of machine doing work that used to need human and these machines also control how fast people had to work, the pace of production, right? Central to Bogg's analysis of automation in his insistence that the process will create a massive surplus population of outsiders. Now Bogg is saying that this automation will create a huge group of outsiders. अभी outsiders कौन है? People whose labor has been made superfluous and obsolete. यानी people who cannot get jobs because machine has taken over it and we cannot get a foothold anywhere. Foothold means a secure position of chance. We cannot get chance anywhere in the labor force. He argues that black industrial workers will be hit first. यानी पूरा labor class ही will be affected, but black will be affected first and hardest by this unemployment, but assures his readers that it will come for all workers in time. शुरुआत में सिर्फ ब्लैक के लिए आएगा but ultimately आएगा सबके लिए. Now, Bog's vision of the world to come is a harrowing one indeed. Even as work become increasingly scarce, कम हो जा रहा, the capitalist world system will inevitably still condition the right to live upon the production of surplus value. Now, Bog is presenting a more dark view of the future, and he is saying even though there will be less work available, this capitalism would still require people to work to survive. ठीक है? To live upon the production of surplus value. Surplus value means profit made from workers' labor. This warning of automatic capacity to create a crisis of jobless and an ever-expanding surplus population still echoes the contemporary discourse which always suggests a world of labor on the precipice of coming undone. ठीक है? So in final lines, author is saying that his warning still feels relevant today. So many fear that jobs are disappearing because of technology, and even though unemployment didn't happen as he predicted, ठीक है? Though this description of full employment did not unfold as Boggs predicted, the process of deindustrialization and class decomposition certainly did, not just in the US but all around the globe, even in nations whose industrial booms came much later in 20th century. तो author is saying कि जैसा बॉग ने प्रेडिक्ट किया था वैसा तो नहीं हो रहा है. The total unemployment didn't happen as predicted. Job loss and factory closures have happened all around the world, including in countries that industrialized later. To what degree can we blame the automation for this shift? So now author is posing various questions कि किस degree, to what degree can we blame automation for this shift? Has the coming onslaught of automation merely been delayed? Onslaught यानी fierce attack. Very fierce attack of automation merely been, क्या अभी देर जो वो fierce attack आने वाला है क्या अभी वो थोड़ा delayed है या हम उसी में रह रहे हैं? Long jury means a long-term historical period. Long-term historical period of disappearing labor. What is the future of this particular work? Or above all else, how can we collectively ensure the possibilities of organizing ourselves as the ground shift underneath our feet? So, the passage exploring whether this process is still going on today and ask how worker can respond in a world where labor keeps disappearing and machine take over more roles. ठीक है? चलो. What was the James Boggs' primary concern about automation in 1963 writing? It would lead to an increase in jobs, decrease in jobs. It would create massive unemployment, especially for the black working class. Yes, this is what passage ने बोला strongly कि everyone will be hit, everyone will be affected. Black सबसे पहले और सबसे ज़्यादा affected होंगे. It would improve working conditions, ऐसा कोई बात है. It didn't praise automation for improving work conditions, so it is irrelevant. It would have no impact on the labor force. It will definitely impact labor force. So D is also incorrect. Coming on to the next question. Which of the following statement according to the passage is false except यानी कौन सा सही है, right? James Boggs wrote that automation would lead to full employment. गलत है. Automation as described by Boggs would primarily create a surplus population of people whose labor become obsolete. Yes, ऐसा वो outsider group create कर देगा who will not have job. The effect of automation described by Boggs did not influence global deindustrialization. This is false because passage says deindustrialization did happen, not that it was unaffected. So D is also incorrect. The idea of automation leading to mass unemployment has not been debated in contemporary discourse. It is also incorrect because contemporary debates will still raise the fear of disappearing work due to automation. So D is also incorrect. What can be inferred about James Boggs' view of the future of work based on his writing? He believed that automation would lead to better and more efficient economy? Incorrect. He did not see automation as making the economy better. He feared automation would result in highly unequal society. Yes, and would be increasingly scarce. He thought that automation would affect only black, not only, it will affect everyone. It's just they will be hit first. He was optimistic about the technological advancement. He is not optimistic at all. He saw automation as a harsh and threatening. He is pessimistic about it. So we have got the correct answer, that is B. According to the passage, what is one of the key challenges that Bogg's vision of automation presents? Could create a more productive economy? No, didn't say कि automation will benefit all and make economic productive. ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोला गया. Automation could result in a growing population of unemployed. Yes, automation could increase the demand for human labor in all sectors. Will actually decrease the demand. Automation would slow down the technological progress. It will actually increase the technological progress in manufacturing sector. What does the word cataclysm most closely mean in this passage? A small change, a major change. A positive, a negative transformation. A great disaster, yes. A gradual process, it is a sudden process. So C is the correct answer. What is the effect of automation as predicted by James Boggs? Increased labor participation from marginalized communities. False. He did not think that marginalized group would join the labor force more. He feared that they will be the first pushed out. They will be the first to pushed out. A shift in the global economy model toward more centralized industries. No, he didn't focus on centralized industries, but on centralized studies की बात नहीं है, job loss की बात है, right? A massive surplus population of workers unable to find employment, yes. Technological advancement that benefit all, no, it is not benefiting all workers equally, rather they are taking their job, so D is also incorrect. Coming on to the last passage. It's been a bummer summer for crypto. Bummer summer, like disappointment, okay? Disappointment, bummer, disappointment. For crypto, flagship coins, Bitcoin and Ether are at multi-layer lows, बहुत नीचे जा चुके हैं, ठीक है? And while lesser coins barrel to zero, the author is saying that flagship coins and Bitcoins and Ether are at multi-layer lows, यानी कि बहुत ही they have dropped a lot in value, while lesser coins barrel to zero, ठीक है? Luna went from market capitalization of $34 billion to worthless in a matter of days. Luna कुछ ही दिनों में खत्म. Last week, crypto leading platform Celsius. Celsius क्या है? A platform for crypto transaction. Announced it was pausing all withdrawals. वो अपने सारे withdrawals को pause कर रहा है and transfers between accounts. The company that told us to unbank ourselves because banking is broken. हमें क्या बोला? Say claim offer a better alternative to bank. The company failed. The author mocks crypto CEO who make bold claims while wearing T-shirts are unlikely, not great. Fiduciaries. What is fiduciaries? Fiduciaries typically refers to individuals or entities who have excelled in their duty, जैसे trustees हो गए, legal, ethical obligation to act in best interest of other party. ठीक है? Pro tip: SEO shit posting. Shit posting means posting provocative content online. So this particular statement is mockingly introduced by the author. This is the end of the beginning of Web3, not the beginning of the end. ठीक है? ये अंत की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये शुरुआत का अंत हो चुका है. A staggering amount of human and financial capital, यानी huge amount, a shocking amount of human and financial capital has been allocated to Web3 business and web business and technologies. We have, if we invested this much in cheese, we would convince ourselves that God can arrest a pandemic. यानी इतना अगर हमने ये species का नाम, this is a cow from Netherlands. एंड इसका जो मिल्क होता है वो बहुत रिच एंड क्रीमी होता है। तो ऑथर इज सेइंग कि अगर हमने इससे ये चीज़ का बिजनेस शुरू किया होता तो पैंडेमिक में सबका काम हो गया होता, इसलिए पैंडेमिक में हेल्प कर, इट कुड हेल्प control the pandemic or arrest the pandemic, ठीक है। But the sector struggles highlight crypto's failure to deliver a core promise. Author is saying that crypto has failed to deliver its main purpose, creating a system where people do not have to trust each other. The sector struggle highlight crypto's failure, ट्रस्टलेसनेस, कोर प्रॉमिस कि किसी को भी बीच की जरूरत नहीं है, किसी भी मीडिएटर की जरूरत नहीं है या ट्रस्ट की जरूरत नहीं। ट्रस्टलेस ट्रांजैक्शंस आर क्रिप्टोज राइजन डी ऑट्रे, यानी उनके एग्जिस्टेंस का यही रीजन था। दिस इज अ फ्रेंच वर्ड दैट मींस रीजन ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस। इन द क्रिप्टो मैग्ना कार्टा, द व्हाइट पेपर दैट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द बिटकॉइन, 13 टाइम्स। सो ऑथर इज सेइंग कि बिटकॉइंस का जो ओरिजिनल व्हाइट पेपर है उसमें ट्रस्ट वर्ड 13 बार लिखा गया, एंड द होल पॉइंट वाज टू अवॉइड हैविंग टू ट्रस्ट पीपल और इंस्टीट्यूशन, ठीक है। एंड समड अप क्रिप्टो करेंसी इज अ सिस्टम फॉर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक ट्रांजैक्शन विदाउट रिलाइंग ऑन ट्रस्ट, कोई ट्रस्ट नहीं। व्हाई वुड क्रिप्टो वांट टू एलिमिनेट ट्रस्ट? ऑथर इज पोजिंग अनदर रिटोरिकल क्वेश्चन कि क्यों, व्हाई टू एलिमिनेट ट्रस्ट? Trust is at the heart of all human endeavors. Author is saying the whole point was to avoid to having to trust people and institutions, but the central of human life is trust only. Author is saying our species superpower is cooperation, and cooperation requires that we trust one another. Author is saying कि our society run on trust, whether it is trusting driver, food security or whatever. We will divide the spoils of hunt, keep our livestock from one another field, or honor a warranty or defective product. Modern life exists on a web of trust. From the dairy aisle to interstate highway, we rely on millions of other people to do their job and demonstrate high regard for people they will likely never meet. ठीक है, author is saying कि while crypto tries to remove trust, but real human cooperation is based on trust, and he is giving various examples. Now, but maintaining all that trust is expensive and cumbersome. What is cumbersome? Complicated and hard to manage. I trust drivers to obey speed limit because I pay tax dollars to support highway patrol officers. I trust milk because the FDA inspects dairy plants and brand names tells me who to sue if the milk makes me ill. कि मुझे किसको पकड़ना है। It's estimated that the cost of maintaining trust account for 35% of employment in the US in financial and professional services. That number is 48%. तो author is saying कि trust is expensive. It takes a lot of jobs to make sure people follow rules. US trust related work makes 35% of job. 48% is financial sector. So I think that means the majority of my students will not be bankers, analysts or product managers, but agents of trust in JD order. What is JD order? Is a metaphor for pop culture, like professionals, like trusted professionals, जैसे bankers, आप जिसको अपने पैसे देते हो, right? And everyone. JD order, यानी professionals whom you trust. ठीक है? It is a metaphor. Now, what if we could have all the great taste of cooperation without the calories of trust? यानी कि हमारे पास सारा calories of trust is a metaphor for the cost or burden of trust. Calories, cost of trust. ठीक है? अभी author is saying that so most of us really working to help people believe each other, and crypto's dream was to keep the benefit of cooperation like trust without any cost. That's the promise of crypto. ठीक है? What if we could have all the great taste of cooperation without any calories? यानी we can calories of trust. यानी we can eat छोले भटूरे without the tension of calories associated with it. ठीक है? यही crypto का promise था. Whatever you need validated, you put it on the immutable blockchain. What is immutable blockchain? Unchangeable blockchain. And you have ground truth. Ground truth, reliable, verifiable truth. But beware of tech bros preaching decentralization. Author is saying कि promoting the idea of no central authority, preaching like no central authority. Beware of these crypto bros, tech bros, and technology has been promising to eliminate the middleman for decades, only to present new middleman. यानी इन्होंने बोला कि कोई middleman नहीं होना चाहिए, only to present new middlemen, in this case new actors asking you to transfer trust and wealth from one institution to theirs. कि ये middleman अच्छा नहीं है, आप बैंक को छोड़ो, हमको अपना पैसा दो, ठीक है? Crypto enthusiasts spent 14 years and tens of billions of venture capital dollars trying to create a trustless financial system with no middlemen. Status see above. सेल्सियस, यानी इन्होंने 14 साल मेहनत की एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाने का जिसमें कोई भी बिचौलिया नहीं हो, कोई भी मिडलमैन नहीं हो, किसी भी ट्रस्ट ट्रांजैक्शन की जरूरत नहीं हो, लेकिन अभी स्टेटस क्या है? सी अबव, सी सेल्सियस, यानी सेल्सियस तो क्रैश कर गया, सिस्टम फेल कर गया, सी अबव सेल्सियस, ठीक है? तो ऑथर इज काइंड ऑफ मॉकिंग इट, काइंड ऑफ क्या मॉक ही कर रहा है, ठीक है? क्रिप्टोज डर्टी लिटिल सीक्रेट इज दैट it's no more eliminated the need for trust than it has replaced the US dollar. ठीक है? Crypto's dirty little secret is that it is no more eliminated the need for trust than it has replaced the US dollar. Its core rhetoric is in the reignite anti-government creed. What is reignite? That referring to conservative anti-government ideas. ठीक है? Don't trust the federal, don't trust the government, don't trust anyone, they told us, but this is bullshit. I mean bullshit 3, ये एक mocking के लिए यहाँ पे 3 लगाया गया. When crypto went mainstream in 2020, it appended a new line, trust us. So author is, in the end, crypto has not removed trust, it just changed the message. At first crypto told us not to trust bank or government, but now it just asks us to trust crypto companies instead. That is exactly what it was supposed to fix, trust, ठीक है? So it was a very mocking passage. What is the central promise of crypto according to the passage? क्या central promise था author का? Decentralization of financial power. No, decentralization was not the goal. The main promise was the trust. ठीक है? तो A is incorrect. Trustless transaction without relying on intermediaries. Yes, B is the central promise. Was the central promise. Satoshi Nakamoto summed up cryptocurrency as a system for electric transaction without relying on trust. The elimination of all middlemen in elimination of all middlemen in economic transaction. Crypto tries to remove middlemen, but it hasn't succeeded. Elimination नहीं है. The development of new form of government control. The passage never mentions government control as the goal of the crypto. So D is also incorrect. Coming on to the next question. What does the passage suggest about the trustless nature of crypto? Crypto has successfully eliminated the need for trust in financial. Successfully? Does it? Incorrect. ठीक है? Despite its claim, crypto still relies on trust, just with different intermediaries. Yes, technology has been promising to eliminate the middleman only to present a new middleman. So D is correct answer. The decentralization promised by crypto has created a financial system without middlemen. ये वो करना चाहते थे पर कर नहीं पाए. New middlemen like Celsius have replaced old ones. The passage argues that traditional financial systems are less trustworthy than crypto. The author does not compare trust levels between crypto and banks, so it is irrelevant. What can be inferred about the author's view of crypto based on passage? क्या infer कर सकते हैं हम? The author fully supports crypto potential to eliminate. Does he? No, the author clearly does not support. काफी mocking statement मिले हमें. The author is critical of crypto's failure to live up to its promises. Yes, the author is mocking crypto for not fulfilling its promises. The author believes crypto is a revolutionary financial system that will succeed in future. No, there is no optimism, only sarcasm, full of sarcasm. The author thinks crypto has successfully replaced. No, author does not think so. He has not replaced traditional system at all. Moving on to the next question. What does the word raison d'etre means in the passage? The ultimate goal or reason for existence? Yes, यही होता है. The failure of collapse? No. The group of reason, people benefiting from a system? C. No, it doesn't mean who benefits. The technological foundation of a process? No, it is about purpose, not technology. ये purpose की बात थी, technology की बात नहीं थी, तो D is also incorrect. What is the effect of crypto's failure to eliminate the need for trust as discussed in the passage? Crypto has been successful in decentralizing financial systems. Crypto has not been successful, right? So A is incorrect. Traditional financial institutions have been completely replaced. Extreme, no, bilkul nahi, still exist and they have not been replaced at all. Option C, crypto has created a new intermediaries that still require trust. Yes, new actors asking you to transfer trust and wealth from one institution to theirs. C is the correct answer. Trust in crypto has increased among mainstream investors. No, the passage does not say that the trust in crypto is growing, so it is irrelevant. Crash कर गया है क्या, trust grow कर रहा है? Which of the following is an example of figurative language used in the passage? The company that told us to unbank yourself. Ironic, the anti-bank company collapsed like a bank because banking is broken. Irony है यहाँ पे, right? Crypto's dirty little secret. Dirty little secret is a metaphor to for hiding a truth. ठीक है? If we invested this much in cheese, we would convince ourselves that God can arrest a pandemic. Hyperbole है, हाँ? Exaggeration है यहाँ पे. तो correct answer is all of above have figurative language used. ठीक है? All right. I hope सारे पैसेजेस आपको समझ में आए होंगे, उनका एनालिसिस भी समझ में आया होगा और अल्टीमेटली सबके सेंट्रल आइडिया या आपने ये देखा होगा कि सारे ऑप्शंस आर जस्ट अलाइनिंग विद दैट वन आइडिया विच इज रिपीटेड इन द पैसेज. ठीक है? ऑल राइट, ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर नेक्स्ट मॉक. थैंक यू, गुड नाइट.